Hey everybody, welcome back to Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I'm Sean. We're going to start here in just a minute. Got an interesting show planned for you. We're going to talk about aliens. So come on in, share, like and share, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and click the subscribe. Hit the little bell, and you'll get notified when we post new videos. Thanks for coming. Remember, this is a participation show. Hey Shar, so go ahead and participate in the comments. Anything you want to talk about, because I've got my little rant planned, but after that we can talk about anything you want. So, like I said, we'll start in just a minute. I'm going to give you time to share. I'm going to share it. Get some people coming in to watch and participate in the show. So let me share this really quick and then we'll start, because I figure if I give myself enough time to do it, as computer inept as I am, everyone has enough time. So there, I think I shared it. So we'll start here in just a second. I gotta mute our theme music. What do you guys think of the theme music, by the way? I'm going through, that's the first one. Hi, Miss Imaginary. That's the first one I've tried out of, I had a musician that was nice enough to tell me I could pick any song and use it as the theme music for the shows I do. And that's the first one I've tried out. I went through probably three of his albums. He has like six different albums out online. I wish I would have written down his web address so I could plug him so you guys could check him out too. I will do that in the future. But let me know what you think of that intro music, is the long version of what I was trying to say. Because I'm trying out different ones and trying out different intro songs to see what people like. But what I wanted to talk about today on Conspiracy Theories and Chill is aliens. The reason for that is I had a guest at last night's Facebook feed that was talking and recommended to me that I look into the Battle of Dulce Air Force Base. Well, when I looked into that, it's all to do with the alien battle, a battle between aliens and the U.S. military in an underground Air Force base, which got me thinking about aliens, of course. And we're going to get into what I think about aliens, whether I think aliens are among us and cooperating and working with our government, etc., and all of that. And I got step-by-step notes written down how I intend to get into it. So hopefully we stay at least reasonably on track. But we'll start with whether or not I believe. Do I believe that aliens, first off, exist? And the answer to that is yes, I do believe that that what we call aliens exists, but it's not what we think it is. I don't believe that aliens are from outer space. I believe aliens are interdimensional beings. Or what I really believe is that they're angels and demons, that they're the fallen, that they're the Nephilim. That's what I really believe they are. But I'm open to interdimensional, and I would think that that would apply to the fallen. But whatever you think about aliens, regardless of what you think, there is massive amounts of evidence, actually, that our government has been working with aliens for quite a long time. And I'm going to get into, I'm researching a larger project on the whole alien government involvement, conspiracy, all that. and how it all ties together with a few different things that I'm going to get into briefly here. But I will get into them more long form in a future video. But the first one is the Granada Treaty, and this was a treaty that is said to have been made between the United States President Eisenhower, is said to have met with these aliens and formed a treaty. First, they met with two groups of aliens. This is the way that this conspiracy goes. Hold on, I'm gonna write a note down. It's giving me a tip that my bit rate is too high. I'm just gonna write that down because I want to improve. I know that there's probably been maybe glitches in the feed. I haven't been paying attention, but usually it's been getting a lot better. We are making progress, but there has been some little problems, so I'm trying to learn from the little things it says to me during the feed and pay attention to that. But this treaty met with two different groups of aliens. The first group of aliens are said to be human-like. I believe they were called the plebes. They wanted to help humanity. They wanted to help advance humanity, but they wanted humanity to disarm. They wanted us to destroy all of our nuclear weapons. Well, we didn't like that. We didn't want to destroy our toys. So they went with the Greys. Now the plebes had warned the government not to trust the Greys, but they went with the Greys who said they could defend us from the plebes. And I hope I'm not getting the name of the other race, of the humanoid aliens, the other race. Um, but they wanted certain things in return, and we gave them permission to abduct humans and do experiments on them as long as they had no memory of the event. That is the way the theory goes. And it's interesting. Like I say, I'll have to get into a lot of this stuff deeper in future videos, but there are a lot of interesting pieces of evidence that these meetings and encounters took place, and there was a lot of missing time in that presidency where, you know, these things kind of can line up, but they could also just be weird coincidences, or it could have been things that they don't want the public to know. But I think it's fun to kick around. But then you have more evidence. You have places that exist and that you can look into for yourself, like Area 51, that are highly classified and highly guarded. And now that I've looked into the Dulce Air Force Base, it's also got a massive underground facility. These underground bases exist. These are real things. You can look them up. They The military uses them, but they are also used in civilian facilities, and there are bunkers set up by the elite already underground. Um, but that's all real. But these two classified bases, that points to you're hiding something. Now you could say they're hiding advanced technology, but you could also say they're hiding interaction with aliens and alien technology. But I do believe that our government and the powers that be um, deal with these otherworldly beings and entities. It's just, I don't believe that they're from outer space. That's the only difference in what I believe and what you may believe. But I think it's clear that they do interact. And I think it's been going on way, way throughout time, all the way back to the Egyptians. I think that makes things make a lot of sense because, the Bible talks about how a lot of the technology and a lot of the advancements of humanity came from the fallen, that the fallen taught humanity about all kinds of different things, how to use tools and bad things too. But that's what I believe. And I also believe that they are preparing society for disclosure. Miss Imaginary says a lot of people have problems with live stream. It's hard. It's harder on YouTube than it is on Facebook. But, you know, and that's a little weird. It's because it's fancier, and maybe they're trying to discourage your regular person from even being able to do it. But who knows? Maybe they just want it to be the best it can possibly be because it is nicer. And I've noticed it is of higher quality, but it is harder to do. It's less user friendly for sure. But I'm going to fight through it. I will eventually figure out how to stream on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. It's just, I archive all of the episodes of Conspiracy Theories and Chill over here on YouTube because I want to save them for myself. And people could get value out of them. They're fun to watch back, at later times. You don't have to catch them live. They're fun to catch anytime. And if you do catch it later on, feel free to still comment like you're watching it live. I'll interact with your comments. I'm always checking for new comments. I like the comments. I feed off the comments, and I get a lot of good ideas from the comments. So please feel free to comment as much as you'd like. But I believe they're preparing society for disclosure about aliens. And I believe they've been preparing society for a while, and I think that they're close to the actual event. Now, this is how I believe the aliens will be introduced to us. I believe the aliens will be introduced to us as a common enemy to unite the world and advance the New World Order agenda. I think there'll be some sort of a fake alien invasion and a fake alien threat created that will cause mass panic. And just like always, problem, reaction, solution, they will ride in on their white horses and fight the aliens for us and hold them back. There may end up even being treaties made and, you know, aliens allowed to intermingle with our society. We eventually come to peace with these aliens. But I believe their initial introduction will be through some sort of a fake alien, staged alien invasion. And when I say that, you may think it's crazy. That's crazy talk, a fake alien invasion. But it's something that they've done before, a long time ago. Look into the Battle of Los Angeles, which is another thing that ties in to all of this as proof that the government at least has been working to fool society into believing that there are aliens. So I believe a lot of these leaks are intentional. Some are accidental, but a lot of the leaks are intentional. They always put the truth out there. And why would this be any different? You know what I mean? They always they always put the truth right in front of your face. That's part of their belief system. But they also not only have done this before, there was a fake alien invasion. It was so convincing that the military returned fire. There was a battle. It's called the Battle of Los Angeles, and you can look it up. They fooled them so deeply that they felt like we were being invaded. And it'll be something like that, except it'll be way cooler. You should also look into Project Bluebeam. And this is hologram technology. And when you read what they say in the literature, in their own published and what they've released, it's mind blowing what this thing is supposed to be capable of. But, you know, think about how, Tupac or Michael Jackson can appear on stage and play live at Coachella, the hologram of them. This is that times 1,000. What they claim to be able to do with Project Bluebeam is to make a realistic anything in the sky or anywhere they want to project it. There is hologram technology used around the world that's a lot cooler than what we've ever seen here. You know, there's exhibitions put on in other countries where they can do like a SeaWorld type show in the middle of a high school gymnasium and make it look like the whale is right in front of you, that the water is real. They can do this on a massive scale, and that's what Project Bluebeam is for, to use it in battle to um, confuse populations and to cause mass panic. But let's see what Shar agreed. I don't think it's crazy. When and wow. I'm not sure exactly what I was saying when you asked that. I'm sorry, because I was rambling on and I wasn't paying attention. So I'm not exactly sure. When was the Battle of Los Angeles? I'm going to go ahead and guess that that's what you're asking. Shar says their headphones are. I shouldn't have guessed your gender, but the headphones are cutting in and out. I hope it's not my audio. I hope it's. Well, not that I want you to have bad headphones. That sucks about your headphones, by the way. But I hope it's not the audio itself, because I've had problems with that. There's been a lot of hitches in learning how to do the YouTube live streams. Oh, you can hear now. Okay, good. But the Battle of Los Angeles, I'm mad at myself because I meant to look it up. But 50s or 60s, around the same time as the Roswell incident and all that alien stuff was going on. Around that same time, late 50s, I think. But I would have to look back into it. But it's interesting. I'm gonna do a more in-depth look at the Granada Treaty, Project Bluebeam, and forgot what I was talking about. Shar says, I am a girl, and they're from the dollar store. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. They work as long as they serve their purpose, cheap is good. Sometimes you can go cheap, sometimes you can't, you know. That's something I've always wanted, but I never really treat myself as a fancy pair of headphones, but I never have gotten them. Like I wanted the Beats headphones, which is why that particular Mandela bugs the shit out of me because it was Beats by Dre. It was not Beats by Dr. Dre. That drives me crazy. But because I wanted them, I know what they were called. Oh, Shar says they are broke. That sucks. At least they were just $1. Were they from Dollar Tree where everything's actually just $1? Isn't it fascinating that there's still a place that exists like that? I mean, I know what they sell is pretty much just cheap garbage, but it's fascinating to me that there exists a store where everything costs $1. Everything. And they sell steaks. I mean, they're paper thin steaks, but they sell steaks. Hold on, I got another alert I'm going to write down. It says my bit rate is way too high. So Miss Imaginary says that she saw the whale video. That stuff is fascinating. That you got to imagine that's what they're showing you. So they always have much cooler technology than what they've released to the public, what they've made available to you. And this Project Bluebeam is very interesting to look into just what the capabilities and the things that they talk about it being able to do. Then you got to let your mind run a little wilder because people have hypothesized and even thought that they may have already used this in certain places and certain things have actually been Project Bluebeam. In particular, those weird things in the sky, those blue teardrop looking things that have appeared recently that people were blaming on Tesla rockets that have moving things inside of them. Did you see that video? Did you see those? That's interesting to look into as well. That's not from a rocket launch. That's ridiculous. What's the stuff moving inside of it? You know? Project Bluebeam would be a big show. Oh yeah. You seen the whale video too? Is that what you're talking about? But yeah, Project Bluebeam, what they're going to do eventually will blow your mind. It will be very convincing, and I believe they are very capable of pulling it off. And I think it will fool most people. But it's important to this is not a particularly religious show, but I happen to be a Christian, and I believe it's important to have the full armor of God and to protect yourself from all the deception around you. Even if you're not religious, you have to be aware that we live in the age of deceit. Everything around us is a lie, and truth is harder and harder and harder to come by. But this is the time of the show where I have exhausted my notes. I thought I had more notes. I had 3 pages of notes, but I've went through my notes and I beat a dead horse. So what do you guys want to talk about? I do have another theory, a conspiracy theory that I've been looking into recently that I could kick around with you. If you're into 9/11, let me know. The no planes theory. Is there any interest in kicking around the no planes theory? Or is there a conspiracy theory that Miss Imaginary or Shar that you would like to get into? Something personal for you that's your favorite conspiracy? Well, let me know. I'll wait a second because there's a little bit of a delay, so I'll give you time to answer. But we're probably not going to do a full hour-long show. I'm experimenting with different things on YouTube, and one of them is days and times. So this is the second one this week I've done of conspiracy theories and chill over here on YouTube. And the first one was on Tuesday, I believe, during the day, around noon. And then this one, of course, is tonight in the evening. I'm trying out, is daytime better? Is nighttime better? Is weekdays better? Is weekends better? You know, I'm figuring out when's the best time to schedule the feed so that I can schedule it and that you can know when it's going to be on and it's easier to catch it and maybe easier for it to build an audience so it catches on and we get more people here because I feed off the comments and I lean on the comments. So if there's not a lot of talking going on, sometimes I run out of things to say. It's hard to do a live show all by yourself, especially when you don't have a team of writers. It's a lot harder than it looks. But Shar says would love to hear that 9/11, the no planes theory. So I'll go into it briefly. And I am also a huge Mandela effect nerd. We can kick around some Mandela effects too. I'm always down to talk about Mandela effects. But they're not technically conspiracies, but they kind of are. They kind of are, you know, especially if you believe they're real. I believe that they're real changes. I believe that they're results of experiments being done at CERN, but I'm no scientist. You know, that's just my personal belief based on the research and the words and the writings of scientists like Stephen Hawking and Neil deGrasse Tyson. A lot of people that are considered to be very smart say that what's going on at CERN is dangerous and could undo reality, even. So that's just me. Shar says, I enjoyed your video on the Catholic Church. I'm sure it's hard to live stream. It's I'm getting more used to it. It's getting a little better. I think it's going to help me paying attention to the warnings that it gives me. That's helpful because over on Facebook it doesn't tell you any of that stuff. You know, you may have more people that show up at the feed, but that's only because I have such a low subscriber rate, which I'm hoping to get up and it will climb. It's kind of stalled at around 840, but my goal is to get it to 1,000, and then my goal will restart, and our new goal will be 5,000. But I want to grow the channel and I want to grow the show. So, like I say, I'm gonna pick a day and time, and then once I settle on it, I'll make sure to promote it. That way you know when to show up if you're digging it and you know when it's going to be on. Shar says the whole Mandela effect is mind blowing, life changing for me at least. 2 years in. Yeah, what was the first Mandela for you that that really shook you and made you start looking at more? Mine was the Berenstein Bears. It's the Berenstein Bears, by the way. It's not the Berenstain Bears. I don't care what anyone says. It's the Berenstein Bears. And I know that for a fact because when I was little, I loved those books and I never knew how to say it. I never knew if it was Steen or Stein. And if it was Stain, I would have known how to say it. That wouldn't have even been a problem. It wouldn't be part of my childhood memories. It was Berenstein. Hi, Vernon. Is that Vernon or Vermin? It might be Vemin. I can't see. It's for whatever reason it's blurry to me. Am I going blind? But anyways, hi. How are you? We're this is a show that I usually do on Facebook. It's conspiracy theories and chill. We talk about conspiracies basically. It's pretty simple. And we talked earlier about aliens. Right now we're talking about Mandelas. And we can talk about anything you want. This is a participation show, so I feed off the comments. So anything you want to get into, go ahead and mention. Miss Imaginary says, do you believe in people shapeshifting into reptilians, aka celebrities? Um, I have looked at a lot of that, and the most prolific person in the reptilian theory is probably, without a doubt, David Icke. And I like David Icke. I listen to a lot. I like listening to David Icke speak. David Icke's a very good speaker, and I don't have to agree with everything everyone says. I don't even expect to. That's unrealistic. But do I believe in the reptilian theory? I believe that there is something, and it may be that these interdimensional beings do live among us already and are part of these elite bloodlines. But I'm not sure if I believe in the shape shifting, you know, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with that theory, but let me go ahead and lay it out for anybody, just so like if a newbie was running by that never really heard about the reptilian theory. But the reptilians are supposed to be able to shapeshift. And some people think that they don't actually shapeshift so much, like they don't physically shapeshift. They shift your perception of them. They change the vibrations around them and affect the way that you perceive them. They don't physically actually change themselves. But I'm going to tell you that I don't put it outside the realms of possibilities, and that may sound crazy because wow, you're saying maybe there are reptilians in power, but for one, you could call them reptilians, but I would again call them demons and otherworldly interdimensional beings is how I would look at them. But there could be something to it. There is deep evil in this world, and it is in control. I believe it's otherworldly. I believe it's demonic. But whether you believe it's interdimensional or alien or you you have to at least feel it. I mean, it's everywhere. So, do I believe in people shapeshifting into reptilians? Not fully. I just wouldn't put it outside the realm of possibilities. Is it weird that I'm that lied to that that I'm surrounded by that much evil that I'm like maybe the demons, physically do rule us instead of just from behind the curtain. I've seen a lot of interesting videos, but that would just be video glitches and camera tricks where you see like reptilian eyes and things like that. But and there are a lot of people that claim to have seen certain people shapeshift, like the Queen. But I sometimes wonder like what maybe you were doing, how your mind might have been altered to make you see that. But Shar says, for me, it was too many things like the Berenstain Bears, the Statue of Liberty being attacked. That's a big one. I was blown away by that. I didn't know about that until I started researching Mandela effects, that the Statue of Liberty had ever even been attacked. I had no idea. I didn't even know the torch was damaged. And I think that's fascinating because the Statue of Liberty has like three attached to it. There's the fact that a lot of people remember it being on a different island than the one it's on. That's a big one. There's a lot of people that remember being able to go to the torch, and the torch has been damaged all the way back since World War II, is when the attack happened. No one's been in the torch for 100 years. People remember going up there. And then there's the attack itself, which a lot of people never even heard of. I know I hadn't. But Shar says she can't hear me no more. My headphones are acting up too much. I'll watch the replay. I'm so sorry I can't stay. I was enjoying this. Thanks for coming, by the way. And yeah, watch the replay. That's fine. Miss Imaginary says, for me, the giant statues popping up all over the world that we have never seen before. That's your favorite conspiracy? Um, what do you think about that? What do you think about giants maybe having existed on this earth? The the Bible talks about that, but there's also evidence in history of it. And what do you think of the discoveries of gigantic skeletons? You know, maybe a lot of these giant statues are depictions, actual size depictions of real people that existed at one time. You know, a lot of lore actually has truth behind it. But those are all really interesting things. And then there's the facts that there's been gigantic books found, although they could have been made for artistic purposes, but it's weird. And then all old buildings, all ancient architecture is very wide open, very friendly to very large ceilings, very friendly to height and size. And that's a little odd too, because none of our current architecture is like that. Miss Imaginary said, okay, that's the same comment. But I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I'm going to experiment with whether or not it gets more replay value being shorter or longer. Usually we go an hour. I wanted to aim for about a half hour tonight, so it's about 32 minutes. And that sounds good to me. So thank you guys for showing up. And let me know in the comments, those of you who were able to come by, what is a good time and day for you? Because maybe it'll line up with my schedule. And, I haven't picked a day and time. So any input on that would be very appreciated. And then any content you'd like to see in the future on episodes, anything you'd like to see me go into or cover, do research on for you and go into. We can talk about any of that. Leave that in the comments. But thanks for stopping by and watching the show. And while you're here, like and share and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out a video or two. I got some Mandela videos on the channel. We talked about those. I got a 9/11 video. We talked about 9/11 a little bit. Actually, we didn't, but we almost did. We flirted with talking about 9/11. But thanks for coming. I'll see you guys on the next episode.